सलाह होते हैं और में आवश्यकता प्राप्त करते हैं। तो महाराज जी की बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। मेरी मुलाकात हुई महाराज के साथ 1991 में, जब महाराज IIT में पढ़ता था। वो कम से कम महीने में 1 बार आते थे जीरो मंदिर से प्रवचन देने के लिए। उनके साथ और स्पेशल बात महाराज दोनों आते थे साथ में, और दोनों की मैत्री देखकर हम लोग बहुत प्रभावित हुए। दोनों बहुत निकट मिलते थे और महाराज जी प्रवचन देते थे साथ में। इनके साथ इस 15-20 लोग नीचे आते थे प्रवचन सुनने के लिए। तो महाराज जी बहुत सब तरह के सेवाओं में, जैसे फंड रेजिंग हो, मंदिर के निर्माण हो, और भगवान की जो भी इच्छा है उसको पूर्ति करने में सक्षम रहे हमारे। और पुणे के साथ महाराज जी का खास संबंध है, क्योंकि 1994 में जब मैं ज्वाइन किया था मुंबई में, उसके बाद एक बार आया पुणे में, ज्वाइन करने के बाद 1997 उस समय महाराज आए थे। उसके पहले कृष्णा महाराज वो अध्यक्ष थे। उसके बाद वृंदावन प्रभु को नियुक्त किया गया, कृष्णा को। तीनों को नियुक्त करने में महाराज का बड़ा हाथ है। शिव मंदिर को प्रतिनिधित्व करने वाले महाराज जी थे पुणे में, क्योंकि पूरा मंदिर भी शिव मंदिर का एक एक्सटेंशन है। वो लोग नहीं आकर चालू किए पुणे में, तो समय महाराज आते थे पुणे काम से पुणे आने में। उसके बाद जब मेरा अध्यक्ष आशीर्वाद मिले इधर आपके महाराज टाइम से, तो आज के पिछले 2-3 सालों में हम साल में एक बार महाराज को ला पा रहे हैं। अपेक्षा करते हैं कि महाराज हमेशा पुणे में पढ़ा रहे और हम लोगों को संघ प्रदान करें, और उनसे सीखने लायक अनगिनत चीजें हैं। तो कल का प्रवचन बहुत बढ़िया हुई। उधर समझ में महाराज ने जगह में उद्धार के बारे में निश्चित रूप से विचार लोगों की कृपा कटाक्ष के बारे में बताया उन्होंने। तो आज भी हमारे बाल के संकट लेके आए थे। आइए हमारे को स्वागत करते हैं। हरि बोल। महाराज की साथ महाराज के शिष्य महाराज, तो भक्ति महाराज का पुणे के साथ बहुत से संबंध है। इधर जो प्रचार हॉल है, उन दिनों में उधर 7 दिन का अच्छा कोर्स कराई गई थी। हमारे कॉन्ग्रेगेशन के 100 से ज्यादा भक्त उसमें हर दिन शाम को 7 बजे के लिए मारा गई थी। सबको पता था इस टाइम में। उसके बाद एक दबाश्रय करके कोर्स उधर भी किया है LSC में। तो महाराज जी महाराज ने मुझे और परमेश्वर को बुलाकर हम तीनों का एक टीम बनाया, ISKCON लीड्स करके। उन्होंने कहा कि भारत के सब नेताओं को ट्रेनिंग मिलना चाहिए, इस अपेक्षा है। तो आदमी जब है ISKCON देख सकते हैं, सारे भारत से 30 ट्रेनिंग है। तो इस तरह मध्य महाराज प्रशिक्षण दे रहे हैं, ट्रेनिंग में बड़े उत्साही हैं। तो वो भी साथ में उनको स्वागत करते हैं। हरि बोल।
Will my talk be translated? How will that work?
So हमारे लास्ट में हमारे टॉपिक को ट्रांसलेट कर रहा है। ऐसा में करना है। इधर ऐसा ठीक है क्या? mana tu jalan tu, ya? Jadi dengan sih mana? Dengan jadi mana? Apa? Dengan sih mana tu? Dengan sih dia. Minta apa? और देवी वन किसी ना लगे, क्योंकि क्या है कि कॉल में किसी दर बिहाइंड है, इतना तो नहीं किसी ने खाया, ये वैसे तो कॉल करी, वैसे तो वो लेकिन कॉल नहीं है, लेकिन किसी के बिहाइंड, लेकिन जान से कॉल क्यों नहीं आता, हाँ, just behind,
So
English, only English mother, no need of line by line.
Okay. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. I will begin by singing the Mangalacharna prayers and reading a short kirtan, and then I will speak on Granth Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Jaya Vishnupada Brahman Supreme Prabhupada Stotras Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jaya ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya Jaya Vishnupada Brahman Supreme Prabhupada Astotra Satasvi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jaya Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jaya Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jaya Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jaya Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jaya Vrindavan Dham Ki Jaya Navadvip Dham Ki Jaya Yamuna Mai Ki Jaya Ganga Mai Ki Jaya Tulsi Devi Ki Jaya Bhakti Devi Ki Jaya Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jaya Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm going to use the bathroom again.
I can use Maharaj.
And in the meantime, they can
They
get your time.
Yeah. Okay, then कीजिए. You can take the mic.
I'll be back in a minute.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. We shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam, text 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Please repeat. Na Yad Vachas Chitra Padam Harer Yasho Jagat Pavitram Pragrinita Karichit Tad Vyasam Tirtham Ushanti Manasa Na Yatra Hamsa Niramanti Ushik Shaya Nayad Vachas Chitrapadam Harer Yasho Jagat Pavitram Pravilita Karichit Tadvaya Sankirtam Ushanti Manasa Nayatra Niramanti Shikshaya.
Now the Shambhu will say, the audience doesn't need to recite it, just continue.
Na, not. Yat, that. Vacha, vocabulary. Chitrapadam, decorative. Hare, of the Lord. Yasha, glories. Jagat, universe. Pavitram, sanctified. Pragrinita, described. Karichit, hardly. Tat, that. Vyasam, crows. Tirtham, place of pilgrimage. Ushanti, think. Manasa, saintly persons. Na, not. Yatra, where. Hamsa, all perfect beings. Niramanti, take pleasure. Ushikshaya, those who reside in the transcendental abode. Translation. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all-perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Please repeat. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all-perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Crows and swans are not birds of the same feather because of their different mental attitudes. The fruitive workers or passionate men are compared to the crows, whereas the all-perfect saintly persons are compared to the swans. The crows take pleasure in a place where garbage is thrown out, just as the passionate fruitive workers take pleasure in wine and women and places for gross sense pleasure. The swans do not take pleasure in the places where crows are assembled for conferences and meetings. They are instead seen in the atmosphere of natural scenic beauty, where there are transparent reservoirs of water, nicely decorated with stems of lotus flowers in variegated colors of natural beauty. That is the difference between the two classes of birds. Nature has influenced different species of life with different mentalities, and it is not possible to bring them up into the same rank and file. Similarly, there are different kinds of literature for different types of men of different mentality. Mostly, the market literatures which attract men of the crows categories are literatures containing refused remnants of sensuous topics. They are generally known as mundane talks in relation with the gross body and subtle mind. So my dear devotee, the purport of this verse is that we should be selective in what we read and hear, because reading or hearing mundane topics will pollute our consciousness, and hearing transcendental topics will purify our consciousness. Now we have access through social media to all sorts of topics. And there will be no one to check what we're reading. So we should be mindful of the different effects that the different types of topics have on us, and not indulge in reading or hearing mundane topics which are meant for people who are like crows, but rather we should be like swans and relish topics of Krishna. Mostly, the market literatures which attract men of the prose category are literatures containing refused remnants of sensuous topics. They are generally known as mundane talks in relation with the gross body and subtle mind. They are full of subject matter described in decorative language, full of mundane similes and metaphorical arrangements. Yet with all that, they do not glorify the Lord. So yeah, there are mundane authors who can write very nicely. But if they do not write about the glories of the Lord, then their literature is useless for us, for any devotee. Such poetry and prose on any subject matter is considered decoration of a dead body. Because real life is Krishna consciousness, and anything without Krishna consciousness is basically dead. Spiritually advanced men who are compared to the swans do not take pleasure in such dead literatures, which are sources of pleasure for men who are spiritually dead. Once in Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada's disciple Shyam Sundar was somehow reading a copy of Time magazine. And Srila Prabhupada saw him, and he said that the people in this magazine are so sinful that just by reading about them or reading what they have written, you will lose your pious credits. We should be very careful about what we read or hear. Spiritually advanced men who are compared to the swans do not take pleasure in such dead literatures, which are sources of pleasure for men who are spiritually dead. These literatures, in the modes of passion and ignorance, are distributed under different labels, but they can hardly help the spiritual urge of the human being. And thus the swan-like spiritually advanced men have nothing to do with them. So we should not touch these literatures of these topics. We should avoid them. Such spiritually advanced men are also called manasa because they always keep up the standard of transcendental voluntary service to the Lord on the spiritual plane. So Srila Rupa Goswami has mentioned 6 divisions of surrender. And the first 2 are Anukulyasya Sankalpa and Pratikulyasya Varjana. So Anukul means favorable. So we should accept whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness. We should reject whatever is unfavorable. So topics of the Lord are favorable, we should accept them. And topics of mundane subjects without glorification of the Lord should be rejected. And that will help us to progress. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjana. Such spiritually advanced men are also called manasa because they always keep up the standard of transcendental voluntary service to the Lord on the spiritual plane. This completely forbids fruitive activities for gross bodily sense satisfaction or subtle speculation of the material egoistic mind. Social literary men, scientists, mundane poets, theoretical philosophers, and politicians who are completely absorbed in the material advancement of sense pleasure are all dolls of the material energy. So these people may be respected in human society, they may be considered very important people, but if they do not engage in topics of the Lord, they have no value, and they are compared to crows. Social literary men, scientists, mundane poets, theoretical philosophers, and politicians who are completely absorbed in the material advancement of sense pleasure are all dolls of the material energy. They take pleasure in a place where rejected subject matters are thrown. According to Swami Sridhar, this is the pleasure of the prostitute hunters. But literatures which describe the glories of the Lord are enjoyed by the Paramahamsas who have grasped the essence of human life. And I'll just read the next verse. the Sanskrit and the translation because it goes along with the verse we just read. And it has very great significance for us as followers of Srila Prabhupada. So text 11, Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhadyavatyapi Namanyanantasya Yasho Nikantiyat Shinvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadhava. Translation. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So, Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse because in his humility he considered his writing to be imperfectly composed. And this is what he writes in his preface to Srimad Bhagavatam. I must admit my frailties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, but still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of society on the strength of the following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam 1:5-11. Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhadyavatyapi Namanyanantasya Yasho Nikanti Yach Shinvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadhava. Quote, on the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a transcendental creation meant for bringing about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though irregularly composed, is heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. And some devotees have commented that this verse indirectly refers to Srila Prabhupada, because at the time that Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken, say 5,000 years ago, we can't say that civilization was misdirected and that people were impious. So this verse hints at Srila Prabhupada and his mission bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization, which is the case now in Kali Yuga. So, yes, we're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us all these wonderful books, translations, Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Ishopanishad, and others. And in conclusion, I would like to read something that gives a hint of how Srila Prabhupada's books were written. So this is a remembrance by Prabhupada's disciple, Bhagavat Das. Prabhupada said, "Can you quote this verse?" And the two of us looked at each other, and I thought, Tamal Krishna Goswami will quote the verse. But Tamal Krishna Goswami thought I was going to do it. Neither of us knew the verse. Prabhupada said, "Just see, you are not reading my books. Every day you have to read, study, and learn my books, just like a lawyer learns the law books. You must know everything, chapter and verse. If you do not know, how will you preach? Unless you know my books, how will you teach these men? Do you know that every day, even I read my own books? Do you know why I read my books?" And Bhagavad says, we didn't want to venture any answer. Then Prabhupada said, "I read my books every day because even I learn something new when I read my books. These are not my books. I do not write these books." At this point, it seemed as if something mystical came over him. He said, "Every morning when I sit here to write my books, Krishna comes personally and dictates to me what to write. I simply take dictation from Krishna to write these books. Therefore, when I read them, even I learn something." And Bhagavad continues. The way he said it was so dramatic that we felt the weight of his words. I was thinking, I am speaking with a person who is speaking with God, who is right next to God. I am only one person removed, means away from God. He is so close. Yet I knew, because of the state of my own consciousness, how far away I actually was. So these books are written by Krishna, and we should take advantage of them. As Srila Prabhupada said, we should study them. The lawyer studies the law books, so we can quote chapter and verse as as required, as appropriate. So, yes, Srila Prabhupada labored very hard to give us these books. He would take rest at about 10 at night, and after only 2 hours, at about midnight, he would wake up and he would dictate these books. So we should make Srila Prabhupada's effort fruitful by reading the books, studying the books, learning the books, and then sharing the knowledge in the books with others. So my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. And now if any of you have any questions or comments, any reflections you would like to share, you can raise your hand. It's early. Isn't my time 9:30?
Yeah. That's the time. Right over there.
Oh, my watch is.
Oh, your watch is.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Maharaj, this question is in 2 parts. This is from your what you just said about Shyam Sundar Prabhu reading the time. So unfortunately, many of us are part of society as well. So we need to be socially aware and yet spiritually absorbed. So one is, how do you balance that? And secondly, being in a profession, we need to keep ourselves professionally updated. So how do we strike a balance between being professionally updated, just reading mundane stuff?
Well, for your work, you have to stay abreast of the developments, so that's understood. That's natural. That's not a violation of this principle. But as far as keeping up with mundane news, I don't know how important it is. Srila Prabhupada, in 1977, when he was in Juhu, so Indira Gandhi had declared a state of emergency, and Srila Prabhupada was sort of interested in what was happening. So he had a disciple get a newspaper and read to him from the newspaper. But then he said, what the fools and rascals are saying, that is newspaper. So, I mean, I guess he could glance at it, but I wouldn't spend too much time on it. It's not necessary, probably. But of course, for your profession, you do need to stay abreast of developments.
Thank you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you for the class. My question is regarding, like we have black and white substance, like newspaper is totally different than what we consider Krishna conscious. But now with the advent of the social media and smartphones and things like that, so we have a lot of stuff, and some of them is like non-ISKCON. So non-ISKCON is very easy to categorize, although the remaining ISKCON devotees who get into that stuff also. But within ISKCON, we have a whole variety of, talks, right from short talks and quips to big lectures on different topics, which may be very elevated and, So all of that is now made available, and it is all ISKCON stuff. So what happens is that we have limited time and life is busy, so whatever little time could have been spent in some group of books or lectures or things connected to it directly, because of feeling excited and that thing looking very lucrative and it kind of it excites more than the just the pure philosophy worship of gives. So then the time goes there, and we end up watching small short videos. Sometimes we use them for preaching also, we may put them in our PPTs also. So time goes, and then the pure thing remains aside, and also it's a small thing. So how do we really look at it? The entire range of audio and videos available for ISKCON devotees by ISKCON devotees. And that, I mean, it's a practical issue which many of us face, so I thought we can share some wisdom.
Well, of course, we should give priority to Srila Prabhupada's words. But hearing from devotees in ISKCON can also be beneficial. I often listen to His Holiness Radhanath Swami's lectures, especially when there's a holy day coming up. So I hear what he said on the topic. There's so many. His Holiness Indraduma Swami has a lot of good material. And they're following Srila Prabhupada. They're very good devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So supplementing Srila Prabhupada's talks or writings with their talks or writings is good. It's fine. And I remember when Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita first came out, I was in Jammu, the temple president, and many people came to my office and told me that since they started reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, they are more interested in reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So these other presentations can also inspire people to read Prabhupada's books. And they should. So I would say it's an individual matter. A matter of proportion. But yes, the greater proportion should be Srila Prabhupada. But the other talks can also nourish our faith in Srila Prabhupada and our resolve in Krishna consciousness. So it's good that those talks are out there and that devotees can avail of them. But they should also use some discrimination. I mean, I happen to mention His Holiness Radhanath Swami and His Holiness Indraduma Swami because I really have faith in their presentations. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you, Manju. What is about proportion? Any guideline you would like to propose? You said it should be a balanced proportion.
Why do
Because there is a lot, the global books are also a lot. other material also, both for reading and hearing. So, something you would like to recommend or suggest to that time?
Well, my initial reaction would be 70% Srila Prabhupada and 30% the others.
Thank you.
So here's, I don't know where this came from. I read Srila Prabhupada's books, but I find difficulty in seeing the world around with the vision of scriptures. Can you please share some tips to apply Srila Prabhupada's books' teachings and develop the vision of seeing the world through the lenses of Prabhupada's purports?
Hare Krishna. See, Maharaj likes to answer to the person who has asked the question. So Maharaj likes to see the person and answer. So please raise the hand so that Maharaj can look at you and answer you. So if you, Maharaj doesn't.
There he is.
Raise the hand. Okay, Maharaj. He's the
Okay. Well, what is the difficulty in seeing the world around you through the vision of scriptures? Can we give him a microphone?
Well, what we find that as the age is continuing, we find that degradation and the distraction in the society around us are very much rampant. So I read Srila Prabhupada books. So it becomes more easy to develop faith and conviction to continue reading when I'm able to see the world with the same vision, or when I'm able to apply the teachings of Srila Prabhupada in my own life. So can you please guide that? Because the more it will happen, the more the conviction to read Srila Prabhupada's will also increase.
Well, my dear godbrother Buri John Das has written a very good article called Prayerful Reading. And the idea of prayerful reading is that while you're reading, you should be praying to get out of Srila Prabhupada's books what will be beneficial to you, and then to apply that in your life. Because Srila Prabhupada's books are not dead, they're alive. They're Srila Prabhupada. We get Srila Prabhupada and the whole parampara in his books. And so our mood when we read should be that we're praying to get the message that Srila Prabhupada wants us to get for our own situation, and then apply that in our lives. I could email you Gurijan Prabhu's little essay on prayerful reading, or I could email it to Ravi Shyam Prabhu and he can forward it to you.
I have a question regarding when we read Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada, then there are so many nice pastimes of Srila Prabhupada written. So, is there a qualification to remember the pastime in the sense? Because when we read the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami says, one has to be liberated for remembering Krishna's pastime. Like when we remember Nadrashna Pandya Krishna. So, that is for remembering, is there a qualification to remember, or anybody can remember the pastime?
Anyone who is fortunate can remember the pastimes. It was our practice in the early days in ISKCON that we would read Krishna book every night before taking rest. And then I found in the morning during japa, I would think of pastimes of Krishna from the Krishna book, which enhanced the experience of the japa. So that's good.
I thought it would be like as for me, I was thinking about, is it not sahaja? Is it because they remember some pastimes like those are in Nagaruka, I mean, they remember pastimes of Krishna. If my level, if I am like a neophyte devotee, if I remember, it should not like a sahajism, so that's what I'm asking.
It should not what?
Sahajya.
Sahajya. I don't think it would be. It's good to remember Krishna's pastimes. We're meant to do that. And in the 9 processes of devotional service given by Prahlad, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So Smaranam, remembering. I mean, if you imagine yourself to be in Krishna's pastimes, that might be sahajya, but if you're just remembering the pastimes, that's welcome.
Maharaj, I wanted some clarity on certain types of discussions which are right now in ISKCON quite prevalent. One is dealing with the modern days about Hindutva, and a lot of people keep talking about what is going on in conversions for Christians, and people talk about the Sanatani, Sanatana Dharma. So there is a lot of Hindu consciousness instead of pure devotional service discussions. The Hindu idea, because they feel that this is legitimate because we are trying to protect Prabhupada's mission. Otherwise, if Christians take over, then we will not have any opportunity to preach. So there is a mission angle which they bring in. At the same time, a lot of discussions happen based on the Hindu, more in the pure devotional service. So how do you see Maharaj, what Prabhupada wants us to do?
Well, it's easier to preach to Hindus generally. And so in that sense, the conversion of Hindus to become Christians is not favorable for our preaching. And but our real aim is pure devotional service. But still, people will be more ready, generally people will be more ready to hear the pure message of Krishna consciousness if they're Hindus. I mean, Christians can also, but a Hindu who's converted to become a Christian, I mean, they would have a better chance if they stayed Hindu and didn't get converted. So, yeah.
So Maharaj, from the mission viewpoint, it is understandable that if they remain Hindus, it is a favorable environment for teaching. I want to understand also like these days some movies are coming out, Kashmir Files,
and many other movies are coming out. So people even say that these are actually bona fide to see within ISKCON also, because they are helping us to understand what has happened in degradation of the culture, and like even like now Ram Mandir came, so what all the atrocities happened on the Hindus. So how much we should dwell on these subject matters, because there is one sense that we are trying to protect the mission of Prabhupada, another is there is a sense of vengeance which gets created for the other religions, as we keep hearing about what all atrocities happen.
Well, whenever I consider some social ill in the world, I always feel we have to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books more. People need the knowledge in Srila Prabhupada's books, and if they accept Srila Prabhupada's message, then they won't be so demonic. So my impulse is always we have to distribute more Srila Prabhupada's books.
But another question was related to there are Vedic literatures which may not be directly contributing to devotional service like here what we are discussing. It is in the context where Vyasadeva has already written all the Vedic literatures and he has now bringing Srimad Bhagavatam. So before this already Mahabharata and all are written. So how much the devotees can take from other Vedic literatures discussions, and how they can be seen in pure light of pure devotional service. Because many of these literatures like Mahabharata, Ramayana and all, although they are pure lead, they are connected with Krishna, but our acharyas have not brought light of pure devotional service on these in their commentaries. So it becomes very difficult to discern whether what is being brought is something less than pure devotional service or it is something to be kept within our.
Well, we should give preference to Srila Prabhupada's books. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a summary of the Ramayana. And so if we read those 2 chapters from the 9th canto, we get the essence of the Ramayana, but with Srila Prabhupada's purport, so we know it's pure. I mean, there are devotees who have translated Ramayana and like Mahabharata, but I personally feel more comfortable reading Srila Prabhupada's translations with his purports.
One last in this same Ramayana, Mahabharata have been given purports by many other Sampradaya, and when I hear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, where he debated with the Tattvavadis and discussed like how Shravanam Kirtanam is the way, not Varnashram. And he said that going back to Vaikuntha is not the goal, but Preeti is the goal. So I personally, my humble understanding, I understood that although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always was trying to respect all the acharyas, all the sampradayas, still he was wanting to help us understand the uniqueness of his gift, of what is actually the most exalted way of approaching the Lord. So when devotees approach other sampradayas literatures, it may be from the point of view of the acharya that has given, maybe within the line of at least that it is not restricted to the close, it will be by the strands. But how we should distinguish what is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to learn from us?
Between two swans. Between two different swans.
With the two different,
Swans. Swans.
Like, they are also swan-like personalities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us some very fine-tuned understanding of what we should take as the highest goals. So,
yeah.
how if devotees read literatures from other sampradayas, should they keep this fine-tuned discrimination in trying to read those literatures? Because their implications of those purpose will have those distinctions that what body of Vaishnavism should take and not take. So how should devotees take this?
Well, I don't really see the point in reading those other books. I mean, we have Srila Prabhupada's books. I mean, we can spend our whole life reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And many devotees have said, I've also experienced it, that when you read Srila Prabhupada's books, you keep getting new things out of them that you didn't get before. So they're ever fresh, and it will be safer for us to stick to Srila Prabhupada's books and not read books in other sampradayas, even if they're bona fide Vaishnava sampradayas. We're safer with Srila Prabhupada's books.
I'm wondering if there's any other comments or questions because we can go to the next part.
I think they've asked their questions. You can proceed.
So the latest publication and printing by the Bhakti Book Trust is this amazing book, which actually caused a revolution in keeping these verses. So it says the National Prophet called his disciples from the Western world dancing on elephants, traveling to Pune in India, August 1970 to March 1973. And then the previous visit last year, His Holiness from spoke on the manuscripts of this book in August 1960 here. So now it's already printed in this book. We have printed 20,000 copies of this book with Bhakti Book Trust, and I secured most of the print from India, 13,000 copies, and the rest went to different parts of the world. So I got the price of this book from our devotee who oversees the price in retail price in America. His name is Krishna Kirtan with the Los Angeles BBT. The retail price of this book in America is $20 US, which converts to how many rupees? 1,600. So because I secured most of the print from here, we're getting it for, what's it like, 1/3 the price? What's 600 rupees? 1/3, is it exactly that? 1/3 the price. So we have about 40 brahmacharis in this temple. And usually brahmacharis are quite poor. And we have many devotees in the congregation who accept the brahmacharis as their sons. We don't need to buy any fashionable clothes for them, iPhones, but just I just sponsor the brahmacharis here. And then we have about 10 brahmacharis in our small circle Shashwat, Shashwat, I visited this very nice coming up. So that's 50 or 50 brahmacharis. And we have 140 brahmacharis at Shishivrindavan, Shantatam, ISKCON and ISKCON. Of course, we have a program tomorrow morning also because of the experience. So we also give the congregation a chance to also sponsor there. But we can start, so please help our sons in Brahmacharya. I would like to get a personal copy, especially as if there is guidance shown from us. So when it gets one of the books written by he starts underlining his deeds, so then he realizes underlining behind. It's the past time we should clarify. So there we are. Would like to help? Yes, give him a microphone, please. Microphone. Where's the other microphone? Let him be too recorded. You have even shared Sham Sapar. Sham Sapar. That was a nice question you asked me also. Knowing something social and being absorbed in spiritual. It was a good.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to help us?
Krishna Guru, yes.
How many books of justice translate?
10 for the brahmacharis and 1 for myself.
Yeah, everyone.